Bada bing, bada boom. The
Mhm.
30 just that fast. Hello, what's up, y'all? Happy Tuesday. It is, what is today? The 14th, the 15th?
16th. I only know because my laptop is open.
I be so lost with the days. Like I know what day of the week it is, but I really do just bypass whatever the actual date is. But December 16th, I just keep hearing everybody say for like the last couple of days, oh, Christmas is next week. Christmas,
Which is
you know,
crazy.
not possible, but Christmas is definitely next week. But we are here this week. I don't know why I thought that this was our last Tuesday before the last Tuesday, but we still have one more online next week. And then the week after that is our last Tuesday in person. So we got tonight and we got next week. And then hopefully those of y'all who are in Austin, who are in the 512 area, will come out and join us on the 30th for the last Tuesday. And that will be like our 2025 wrap up, Christmas party, holiday party, New Year's party, just a good old, get together, talk with the folks, have a good time, commemorate, celebrate, and look forward to 2026.
Jelly.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I wish you could be here.
I wish too.
Totally wish that you could be here. It's gonna be a great night. We always miss you on our in persons too. And sometimes I think about cheating and calling you.
I know, right? Go breaking the rules. Can't break the rules.
If we just if we just go live before we start, like maybe we could do like a pre and a post. But one of these
Makes
nights,
it worse.
one of these nights, you'll be here when we are doing our last Tuesday, and that'll be amazing. That'll be great. One day, who knows? Maybe one day me and Q will eventually make our way up to you. That would certainly. That is definitely on my list of things to do, right? Especially, when you know somebody that's in another state, you're like, definitely want to go, right? Like before, but now it's like, hell yeah, I for sure want to go. Like I definitely want to come up there and
it's a better trip.
Yeah, see what your life looks like up there, But we are here. Thank y'all for being here with us. If you're interested in joining the conversation tonight, go over to the Facebook group page. Pinned at the top is the Streamyard link. You just click on the link. It'll bring you right into this little live thing that you see, and you will be a part of the live conversation. If you're not comfortable being a part of the live conversation, but you do want to engage in conversation, you can join us in the comment section of any of the streams, whether it's my page, Q's page, or on the Facebook page, but of course the YouTube channel. The YouTube stream is probably the most solid way to get onto the live group chat or the live chat. And we do try to tend to everybody who is in the chat. So if you do leave us a comment, we certainly do try to get to everybody's comments. Hopefully we'll get to yours. Hopefully you'll leave us one. But tonight, we've got a great conversation. We're going to talk about aging. And this could go so many places. So if you're interested in getting into the conversation, hurry up, go get you something to drink, get comfortable, clear your screen off, come on in here. Let's talk about aging, whether it be wisdom. I mean, who knows where we're going to go with this, but it should be a really good conversation. If you're watching us live right now, if you would hit the share button. Also, of course, subscribe, join, tell a friend, bring a friend, and rules are the same. We'll go till about 9:30. You can jump in here a little late if you need to. You can leave a little early if you need to as well. If we end up going late, you can clock out whenever you need to. If you do join the conversation a little bit late, just hang in and kind of follow where we are, and jump in whenever you're ready to jump in. But no requirement to be here exactly when we start, and you certainly don't have to be here until the entire time. But we will hopefully cut us off at 9:30 tonight. We've been going late the last couple of weeks, so we'll make sure that we get out of here, on time tonight. He was joining us from the road, so he is in there. There's just this little dark box.
And a shiny chain, looks like.
So all I keep seeing is like a little bit of light flashing here and there.
Right. Bling, bling, blow.
So Denise, you suggested the topic of aging. So like where did it come from? Where did it come from? What was your thoughts?
Okay, so this girl randomly pops up in my YouTube. She does these video essays that I think are really interesting about like society, where we are and things like that. And there was one that popped up that I didn't get to watch yet, but it was about how I forgot the exact title, but it's like nobody knows how old anybody is anymore. Like insinuating that the some of the really, really younger kids look old and
Oh,
some of the older people are trying so hard to look young and
okay.
you just don't even know who's what age. And
Okay.
so then that made me just think about aging in general, like seeing things like Kris Jenner and how like I'm not gonna lie, she looks great. You know, she looks like she's almost Kim's sister, and that's her daughter, you know. And so I start,
And she's like 70 something.
yes,
Yeah, she's like
yeah,
70s.
yeah. Kris Jenner, is Kris Jenner 70 yet? Oh
It's
God, I really could
more like
be.
even 40s. So yeah,
No
Chris is
way.
30 something.
Yo, she's just turned 7. That would make sense why you would do something like that drastic on your big birthday. But yeah, 70 years old. Doesn't look it at all. Um, and so it just makes me just think about aging, our relationship with aging, how social media has influenced that relationship with aging over time, as opposed to probably how things were with people our age pre-social media. And I'm just thinking a lot about that. And in a year and a half, I'm going to be 40. So like my perspective is like starting to shift and things like that. And that's what brought me here to this conversation. Is it made me go like some of the things am I experiencing? I'm curious to know like were you all experiencing the same thing around turning 40? Also just thinking about how we perceive life in our 20s versus how we perceive life in our 40s and what that's like, and just thinking about all the changes, and that's how we got here today.
Okay.
So I guess my first question is, when you hear the word aging, what is the first thing that you even think about?
I mean, I think for me, because I am already well past 40, there really is something that happens to you, right? Like it no longer does it become age is just a number. Um, aging, I appreciate aging. I value aging. I've never been afraid of aging, but the one thing that does stick out to me now is the reality that Q says is a lot. Like I'm on the other side of the fucking clock, right? Like I've already had
Ooh.
7 years underneath my belt, and I was looking at today the average age of most women is 80, and when most women live to the age of 80, and most men live to the age of 75. So technically, they're like, okay, well, you're still like a teenager in the grand scheme of how much longer you may have. If I got 40 more years, 30 more years, it's all right. But it does make me think about how much life has passed, and that obviously we're certainly not guaranteed any day ever, but how not to waste any day doing shit I don't want to do, feeling things I feel, being around people I don't want to be around, just experiencing things I don't want to experience. And there's a lot of things obviously I can't control, but the things that I can, I'm so intentional and diligent about that today, because aging is inevitable. I'm going to get older. My body is going to change. My physical health is going to change. My mental health may change, right? Um, but I'm not ready to clock out, right? Like I don't want to be
Yeah.
old. Like I don't ever want to feel that. Um, but aging has never, so far, has never scared me. What about you? Like you talked about just being 40, and I don't even like I looked forward to 40. I thought that 40 was like, like a rite of passage, but 40 felt like 30, 40 felt like 20, 45, 46, 47. huge difference between me and a 40-year-old. So like it's like one, it's not like, oh, it's all downhill from there. No, it's fucking uphill from there. But the way that you just handle things, I feel like it's fine-tuned after you hit 40. Just
Oh.
something that happens at 40, and I cannot wait until you hit it.
um, I used to, so the closer I'm getting to 40, the more excited about aging I'm getting, which is very strange.
Okay.
But then there's a flip side to that too. But like where I'm like, ah, but like I something about when I hear the word aging, I immediately think physical. When I hear aging, I immediately think physical, and I immediately think wrinkles. And
Okay.
I think that's a program thing to think aging. You know,
Okay.
like even when you see it in like commercials and they're trying to sell you this cream or this Botox or this, it's always the wrinkles.
Mhm.
And so I think about that. But the older I've gotten, the more I've started to appreciate it. Like someone I think is just so beautiful and she has like these fine lines in her face is Anne Hathaway. I think it makes her so beautiful. You see her smiling, you see these lines, and just things like that. It made me go like, wow, actually, this is so beautiful. You know, like the older I get, I'm starting to see these moles pop over my face, like my grandmother had. And it's
Mhm.
like these small little things that
Mhm.
people tell you to run from, and it's so beautiful. And so I have mixed feelings when I think about aging. Sometimes I'm thinking this beautiful regalness, and then sometimes I'm thinking about how that can be kind of condemned. So those are kind of the things that I think about when I hear aging.
You know, something that you have mentioned, about the beautiful skin, all of those things, and like moles coming out and freckles coming out and lines coming out, right? Your body changes, I mean, there like in the last couple years, just the way that my skin has changed as I've gotten older. And I've never had like flawless glass skin, right? But like my skin is just so irritable, and I've never had irritable sensitive like skin and shit, but my skin has gotten irritable. It's very, very sensitive to sun, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me, right? So I'm playing back in my head all these beauty commercials and all the things that you read in the girls magazines growing up, how we need to do this and need to do this. And I find myself even just today like googling shit about hormones and loss of hormones, or hormones not being produced, in the same volume that they were in my 20s and my 30s, and foods that you can eat to try to supplement some of that loss of progesterone and estrogen and things, right? And so then you talk about Kris Jenner, and her youthful look is not contributed to anything but plastic surgery. And so sometimes I have a hard time with that, and that doesn't mean I'm judging anybody who decides to go under the knife. That is total personal choice. I can't say if I had the money that I would or I wouldn't when I hit 70. I don't know what I'm going to look like when I'm 70. I don't know, but I like to believe that I've embraced whatever that's going to be enough to be okay with whatever I look like whenever that time comes. But they just named somebody, whoever it was that got like most beautiful woman of the year, or whoever it was that got voted most recently for like the most beautiful woman and beautiful body, she's 100% cosmetically enhanced, from the
Oh.
to the butt to the lips to the nose to the eyes. Like everything about her is absolutely enhanced, and that doesn't mean she's not beautiful, because she's still beautiful. That's not hers, that's not yours. So
Yeah.
so I struggle with that, because I'm definitely team natural woman. I'm definitely team no plastic surgery. I'm team go to the gym. I'm team eat better. I'm team drink some water. I'm team, and that's not to say that that's the only way that we should go about it, but I appreciate being old enough and loving where I've been enough to appreciate my aging body, my
Yeah.
aging exterior. Um, the only time it feels weird to me, and this is probably an insecurity, is when younger men try to approach me. I feel some type of way about that. I'm like, no, you want to look at a 30-year-old woman. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want to look at a 35-year-old woman. You want to have a younger woman. I'm not a younger woman. I'm 47 years old. I'm going to be 50 in the next couple of years. And that's crazy to me. But I love to see women embracing their gray hair. I love to see men embracing gray hair too. My dad was a mustache beard dyer, right? Like, he dyed his shit all the time. But I love to see men and women embracing their wrinkles, their blemishes, you know, their gray hairs, their color changing hair. Plastic surgery. Do you think that you would ever go under the knife? Do you, I mean, and I know it's hard to say right now, right? Because you're youthful and you're beautiful and everything's in its place and it works the way it's supposed to. But do you think that when you turn 70, would you want to dial back and look 30 years younger in your face?
No.
I don't think I would either.
Only because, like, I love looking at my grandma and seeing a grandma.
Right.
I don't want to look at my grandma and see an auntie. Right. I want to see a grandma. Right. I thought my grandmother was so beautiful. Like, I loved everything about her face, her little body, like everything. I thought she was so beautiful. And I think even if I felt insecure and was like, yo, I cannot with this old thing, I wouldn't want to do that because I would not want to create a world where the generation younger than me within my family chose that route. Right. Like, whenever I say this all the time, when I did my first music video, I made sure that I wore my natural hair. You know what I mean? Like, we ain't, granted, it was like this kind of 60s vibe, and so it made sense. It worked. Make sure I wore my natural hair and I had a natural beat on my face. Like, you still had makeup on. But, like, I specifically wanted my nieces and little girls, Black little girls, to see themselves as natural as possible in a video. Because I saw that during the Neo Soul movement, and that moved me, and that made me feel beautiful, and that made me feel like, one day I'm gonna grow my hair out and have natural hair. Like, at that time during perms, and I've said this before on the show, we didn't see that until that movement. Like, oh, natural hair, it's beautiful. I didn't know nobody with natural hair. Right. Everybody had a perm. So to see these women embrace who they naturally were, and then I could see myself in them. And then one day I could grow up with enough confidence to be like, I want to have hair like that. You know what I mean? And so when I think about, now don't get me wrong, I get my laser on my chin, y'all, because I told y'all on the show, I can't have no goatee. I do get laser hair removal.
That's fair. That's fair.
You're muted. You're muted.
That's fair. I think hair
You're muted, Nikki. Nikki, can y'all hear? You're muted.
No.
You're muted.
I can hear. I hear.
Or am I the one? I think I can't hear y'all because I think y'all are talking and I can't hear y'all. Let me jump back in.
Okay. I was like, wait a second. It's working. You made it.
Streamyard doing that again. Streamyard keep doing that.
Well, I wonder if it's her earbuds, because I think she had just put her earbuds in, so I wonder if something went off, because she sounded fine to me.
Not StreamYard, you can hear her, but StreamYard, I've been on quite a few shows, and it's like certain people can't hear the other person. It goes out.
Okay,
let's doing that.
Bring her in.
A lot.
Are you bringing her in? It's not letting me bring it in.
Okay. I'm here.
Here we go.
My bad, John. But yeah, I get a little lazy hair removal. I can't have the chin hair. I can't have the mustache, y'all.
I think that having hair removed, especially facial hair, like there's no, I don't think that that's cheating, aging at all. Like, no. But because you mentioned it, do you like that process? Like, does laser actually work? Do you think, or is it just the most easiest?
Yes. Like, no, it's so, not to be promoting stuff like this, but I have PCOS. So for people who don't know what PCOS is, polycystic ovarian syndrome. So that means that I basically have more testosterone than most women. That affects or having irregular periods, that means that can affect like weight gain or you know, things like that. You can have facial hair, or you might even have hormonal acne, which hormonal acne usually shows up right here. And it could be like cystic acne, like really. And I had that for a second, for a long time, until I started eating meat again. I'm telling you, it went crazy. I will show y'all some pictures. I'll send y'all some pictures when I get up. Y'all will not believe it. But all that to say, so I get facial hair, and I used to wax, or I would kind of like shave, which you're not supposed to do. And I began to get a 5 o'clock shadow, ladies and gentlemen. It was rough. You could see it was textured, a whole thing, and waxing, it just damages your skin. And so getting the laser, what the laser does is it slows down the hair growth, and it makes it very, very, very fine.
Okay.
So then you don't have, you know, it's still some sort of cosmetic thing, huh?
I got it before. I got it under my neck.
Really?
Oh, were you getting like breakouts?
Did you have ingrowns bad under your neck?
Yep.
Yeah.
Ingrowns real bad. And I did a couple sessions, and that was years ago. That had to be maybe 15 years ago. But ever since then, my hair, it
oh hell, he done froze up.
Oh, Q, you froze.
Freeze up.
Yeah, so
I've heard, I mean, I've obviously heard about the laser treatments, and I hear women like underarms and of course bikini area, but I never look into stuff like that because in my mind I'm not gonna do it, right? And I, not in a position where I can really pay for some extra shit, right? However, the feedback is usually that that's like the most preferred, hair removal treatment. And isn't it supposed to be permanent or eventually becomes permanent, right?
It's not permanent. You have to go and get little touch-ups and stuff. But if you start shaving again, then that hair starts to grow back thick again, and So you wanna like when you start to see it come back, you might get like little spot treatments. But you can usually get a series of treatments and kind of keep up from there, as long as you're maintaining it the way that you're supposed to.
And what's that look like timeline? How and like what?
I gotta jump back in.
No way. What in the hell is going on with StreamYard? I just want to know about waxing, like laser hair treatments and some easier methods of getting rid of hair. And everybody wants to leave the conversation. StreamYards, but I don't. Can you hear me? Let's see if that works. Let's see. Let's add Denise back in.
There we go.
Could you hear me right in my mouth while I was?
I could hear you, and then no, I couldn't hear you, and that's why I had to cut out. Sorry.
It's crazy. I don't know what's going on with StreamYard tonight. I said, y'all just want to leave me. I'm trying to learn about beauty secrets.
Yeah.
And,
so,
like, how often do you have to go?
So I did a series before, and then I started, kind of shaving, and then it started kind of growing in. And so, you could basically do like a 6-month package, and so you would come like every 6 to 4 weeks, depending on like how fine it is. So now I'm like good. Okay. And so I might have to come back for a touch up, maybe 3 months from now, something like that. Maybe 6 months from now, depending like if I'm just like maintaining my situation. But if I start shaving too much, does it hurt?
It hurt, yeah.
I have a low tolerance for pain, so I'm trying to think of how I would describe it. Maybe in certain areas, because certain areas of your face are a little more sensitive. So this area is way more sensitive. So it's like, I would say like think about similar to being hit with a rubber band.
Okay, so a little sting.
Like a little sting. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, something like that.
Careful. I mean, it's gotta be better than waxing, I would imagine.
Yeah, I would say better.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say better than waxing, because waxing, you just ripping that out of your skin.
So say pain-wise, I'm thinking the pain has got to be better than waxing. That's my greatest waxing. That just looks horrible. But I understand that PCOS is very, like, you have to. Otherwise, oftentimes women will very much grow an exorbitant amount of hair, whether it's arms, legs, back, face. So do you take other supplements or anything just to kind of help with that?
No, I don't take any supplements. No, I don't. I haven't taken any supplements. I need to really do more research on it. I've just lived with it for so long that it's just kind of like one of those things. And sometimes like it would kind of come in handy because I felt like having testosterone in some cases was better for me. Having more testosterone because I felt like it like now as I'm getting older, I think it doesn't help as much, but I think like it was kind of helping me keep weight off. I think because it's like less estrogen. But this is an assumption I'm making. Most people who have PCOS actually like gain weight and stuff, but I think it was kind of helping me keep it off. And I don't want to do hormone replacement therapy. I don't want to do all that. I don't want to get on birth control because I don't want to be I don't want estrogen shoved down my throat. The truth is, I think you shared this on the page once. It's really like the same way that you treat diabetes is how you should treat PCOS. Because they basically say like PCOS and the thing that you shared, and it was so true because if you actually, it said PCOS is diabetes of the ovaries.
Yeah.
Is how it was described. Yeah. And when you look up the kind of diet you should be on if you have PCOS, it's very similar to a person who has diabetes. You should be on that same kind of diet. And so I'm saying, I like to say like sugar is a big component. Sugar, processed foods are a big component in like how it affects your body. And I know like just speaking of aging in general, like as I've gotten older, I've had to reduce my sugar intake. I do it every like 7 or so years where I realize like when you're young, you can just take back some chips, cookies, sodas, all these things, nothing. You don't feel it, anything. Then you get a little bit older, let's say you're in your 20s, you start to notice maybe you gain a little weight. You know, when you're younger, maybe you would break out a little bit. You're older, you know, you're 27 or something, you start gaining weight. You're 30, now you got a headache. Like as you get older, your body is telling you no. That's something that I learned about aging. But Q, we didn't ask you like what do you think when you hear aging? What comes to you when you hear that phrase?
Same thing. Wrinkles. Your body breaking down, pathway to death. I mean, and you know, I'm not trying to say that to be, I don't know, negative or whatever, but I mean, for most healthy people in their 20s or in their teens, whatever, it's hard for you to really fathom the concept of death. Or if you do, then it's not by natural cause. It's maybe the environment you live. I ain't think I'd make it to 25. It wasn't because natural age. It was the environment that I lived in. I ain't know how that was gonna pan out.
Right.
But it's certain things. You get to a certain age to where everything it's weird. It's all signs, and I think your outlook on it is dependent on how you use your youth. So like I said before, with me, with everything that was revolved around athletics, I played basketball every day. And I will play all day, all night. Like that's all, you know. And if everything in high school, I ran track and played basketball, and then I boxed, and I could do all this stuff all day, every day. And then one day when I was it was about 26, 27, and I couldn't play all day. Like I could just keep going nonstop, and then all of a sudden it's like, not only did I get tired, but the next day when I tried to play after that, I was sore, and I couldn't recover the same way. And it's like, what is this? You know, and you start thinking, you know, you don't know what to think it is, but it's like my recovery is not the same, and I can't move the same way. So then those are just like small little things. And then one of those Kevin Hart on his new stand-up, he was talking about, you know, young people versus being older, and he was like, you know, I seen this young dude playing basketball. He twisted his ankle all the way back, and all he did was just tie his shoe up tighter. And he was like, all right, I'm good. Let's go.
Right.
Like, same thing can have somebody like us out for 8 months, and like we've done. And that's when, and you see yourself, you don't recover as fast even when you do get hurt or injured. And it's
Facts.
so those are not, they're not positive reminders for people. Or, you know, I'm just using that as athletics, but say someone, a lot of people who were child stars, especially in the music industry, like a Michael Jackson or somebody who was young, and then they went through a voice change, and now the same demographic of people who used to like you, now you have to try to reacclimate to a different demographic of people. Now it's like those are things like, those are times where you want to stay young because the transition is harder for you, especially when you're doing a young man's game or young woman's game. So that's the rough, that's the rough part. Now I think you try to find avenues of life, try to find the positive side, because there's definitely positive side of aging and just being more mature and wise, but just my body, no. And if you ask the person, do you know, and you learn to embrace that, but most people, especially when you get a certain age where things are breaking down, you ask you want your 45-year-old body or your 25-year-old body. I want my 25-year-old body. You know, that's just the truth.
But does the aging process bother you though? Like subconsciously, consciously, like does getting older bother you? You.
For me, yes.
It does bother you.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Do I got a delay? And not just that, is and then it depends. Another thing it depends on is how are you aging? Like I got this slip bulging disc in my back, and I'm walking around with a cane 2 or 3 months out of the year, because you know that's not fun. Those are not things that you so if you don't age properly, and certain things can be with you, okay, yeah, I look decent, but my body is broke the hell down. It's not fun. Yeah.
Right.
That's rough. You know what I've also noticed too is like kind of just like people around me, a lot of back issue things like sciatica and like slip disc, or you know, things like that, and how much that affects people. And then me going, am I at the age that the people I know have back problems? Like, you know, like you think about back problems and you think about like someone that's just so much older and and you're like, wait a minute. Like, am I at the age where people are like getting major surgeries because things got to get removed? And like, I'm like, oh, I am at that age. Like, so it's
mine first started at 37 is when the disc in my back first slipped at 37.
Lifelong athlete though too, so that, I mean, that just inevitably comes with, I think, every athlete's territory, whether it's the knees going out, ankles going out,
the knees,
going out. You know, I mean, most athletes by the time you hit 40, if you're not still actively participating, right? And I'm not saying that you weren't, but like if you're not, you know, LeBron right now, you know, still actively fucking playing basketball at his age, like, and I'm sure his body hurts every night, right? But like, if you lose some of that activity, I think that definitely is going to hurt earlier.
Yeah, with me, I didn't lose activity. It was my injuries is what caused me to start being inactive.
Of course.
Oh, yeah.
And some of those injuries, there's nothing you can do. You just can't do anything.
Some of it just, a lot of it's just luck.
Yeah.
Like LeBron stays in shape. He take care of himself, but he's extremely lucky too.
He hasn't had incidences or major injuries. Yeah. Because
I mean, in all honesty, there's 75% of people that's in the NBA that they take extreme care of their bodies.
Yeah.
But some people's bodies, him and Dwayne Wade's body broke down a lot quicker than LeBron's did, and there wasn't nothing he could do about it.
Yeah. And the technology over time has gotten better with how they heal. and things like that, as opposed to, you know, people in the past. Even though LeBron and Dwayne Wade were like what, a year apart, and when
Yeah,
they entered the NBA,
I think Dwayne
2,
Wade was 2 years older than
2.
him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's interesting with what you have access to. I'm curious for both of y'all, if aging weren't an issue, would you want to live longer than whatever the average is?
Yes, absolutely. I do, but you already know I want to live long. She was like, I can go at 60.
If I was in good if I was in good health, I would like to in theory, yes. But but seeing the way that the world going right now, I'm like, I'm not sure how long I want to be around.
I know. Then there's that. My
I'm not
great
even
grand
looking like from a social standpoint, I'd like to be around, but yeah, the way the world is right now, I'm not impressed.
Oh,
See, I don't want to leave it any earlier than I have to. Not yet, right? Now you ask that question
yeah.
in 10 years and we'll see where we're at, or another 20 years we'll see where we're at. But my great grandmother was 100 and I want to say she was 104 or 105 when she finally passed. And she was healthy
Wow.
as shit. She just literally passed of old age. Like she had no cancer. There was nothing wrong with her. She was just an old woman who lived in a nursing home my entire life, right? And
Wow.
I mean, she wasn't even a first generation. She came over from Sweden. Her and you know, her and her family came over on a boat. And
Wow.
I mean, as healthy as could possibly be, you know, my whole entire life. And one night went to sleep and just didn't wake back up. Like that was literally it. She just died of old age, right? But so there's longevity in my family, and I, you know, I don't know, I have this strange like fascination with old people. I feel like they're libraries, right? They're human libraries, and they're like the human history channel. Like I can sit down and just let old people just talk and talk and talk and talk to me, because there's so many things that they've lived that I have no idea what that looks like. And it's like,
Hold
what?
on, but that's you
Yeah.
inquiring and curious about them. When you on the other side of that coin, are you still okay living in a society where people kind of throw old people away and
Oh,
they're not curious about you and they don't care about you and they will leave you in the nursing home and won't visit you for Thanksgiving, Christmas, and they don't make TV shows, or they don't nothing is catered towards you. It's like you are kind of forgotten.
I guess
Are you gonna be okay with that?
for
Because that's how our society is turning right now.
me personally,
Maybe at your grandmother's time, it could have been a different level of respect and admiration and curiosity and intrigue about their life, but I don't see that being the case now. But go ahead.
and I think maybe a lot of people that probably wouldn't be the case. For me personally, I feel as though I'm not going to get stuck in a corner. Like my kids will take care of me until I die. They watched me take care of my dad till he died. There was not a fucking option. Y'all will take care of me until I die. I don't want to be a burden. I will take myself out into a pasture before I become a burden to my children. But getting me to that point where I'm no longer able to use the bathroom on my own, or you know what I'm saying, where I'm just completely incapacitated. No, I'm not going to be left to the side. Like I may never have a partner, but my children have always said, we are never going to put you in a home. We are never going to let something happen to you. Like we will take care of you when that time comes. You took care of us. We'll take care of you at the end. You know, the sad part though, the truth is so many of my clients that I have that are elderly clients, I was at some client's house today cleaning, and gorgeous, huge fucking home. This husband and wife couple, they're probably in their mid 70s. Every time I'm over there, I'm like, I hope one day I find a husband like him. He dotes on that woman. She's injured. She can't hardly leave the bed most days. He goes and checks on her for lunch. He's constantly, every time I'm there, he just hand and foot waits on this woman. And they're just the sweetest people. So I asked him today, you know, how was Thanksgiving? I go once a month. I said, how was your Thanksgiving? And we chatted. And I said, oh, what y'all got going on for Christmas? And you know, what's the plans? And he was getting everything ready, and he's cleaning up the backyard. And I got this huge fucking pile of leaves. And I was like, man, that's where your kids come in handy, right? He goes, no, my kids are worthless. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, oh, I don't think I could say, it would hurt my spirit to say my kids are worthless. Like that couldn't even come out of my mouth and feel right. And it just made me wonder, what is the dynamic between you and your children that they have left y'all over here to fend for yourselves, old and injured, to where you're like, yeah, my kids are useless. And so obviously that is a lot of people's reality, Q. There's a lot of people that won't have anybody when it's all said and done. There's a lot of people that won't have insurance, that won't have a place to go. I mean, we see it right now, elderly people every day with no fucking where to go. And I think that that's just the ultimate sad part of, how did you live your life? How did you live your life? Because if you don't live your life, no one's gonna want to take. If you don't live your life properly, no one's gonna want to take care of you at the end. If you spend your life shitting on people and being a narcissist and just an ugly, mean, just not nice person, like no one's going to help take care of you at the end. If you treat people well, usually someone's going to try to take care of you at the end. And maybe that's just wishful thinking. Maybe that's just me being, ignorant to reality when that's not my reality. But I'm not, sticking them in a home is not an option. Not my parent, not me, not an option.
I agree with you, Nikki. I think it is all about how you treat other people. Like you took care of your children. You take care of your children.
Yes.
And so for your children to then become your caregiver, it's not even a thought, I think, to them.
No.
It's like, you did this, I'm repaying you. Like, you deserve this. As opposed to a person who wasn't there, who didn't do what they were supposed to do, who was not present, who did not provide, who didn't really try. Like, I can't see myself stopping my life, and especially for someone who didn't take care of themselves.
Right.
Because why should you now become my burden?
Right.
That's me.
True.
Some people will say take care of your parents regardless. I set my expectations a long time ago. I said, listen, you need to take care of yourself. If I find that you are not taking care of yourself, I'm not taking you on. You will be in a home.
Yeah.
So I'm not taking on that responsibility. If you care about your life and yourself, I can get behind that.
Right.
I can't get behind somebody who don't take care of themselves. It's not happening.
Right. And it's a hard thing to do, to take care of somebody at the end of their life. It's not anything that most people are trained to do, especially alone. Right. You're not ready for that shit. But being able to live that for, the last 2 years of my dad's life just showed me that if you're built for it, you got it in you. And if you don't, that's okay. You can pay people for help. You can go to places and get help. Like, you can go to a nursing home. You can go to a skilled living facility. I mean, there are options. But you can't wait until you're fucking 50 and 60 years old, 40 years old, and you didn't shit it on your kids their whole life and think that they're going to come around just because you didn't had your first heart attack. Because you didn't had a stroke and now you can't fucking walk. No. And, and there's some people in our life that's what the end is going to look like. That shit scares me. Getting old doesn't scare me. My children deciding, oh, you know what? We changed our mind. That shit would scare me, because if I don't have them, I have nobody. So my life then, set them up, do right for them, do right by them, do right by the people that I love, and hope, that I stay healthy long enough to where I'm not a burden until the very last minute type shit. That shit does scare me, but getting older in itself per se doesn't so much scare me. And maybe that's because I am healthy. Maybe if I had some health conditions or if I had some ailments, I might be a little bit more worried, but so far I'm all right. My line of work sometimes makes me a little nervous. Like, oh God, if you hurt yourself, bitch, you're gonna be down for a while. But so far so good. But a lot of that too is like, I don't put myself in positions where I could get hurt. I don't go do shit that I could break an arm or break a leg, or I don't do stuff that could potentially injure me as a 47-year-old woman. I'm not going to heal as well. as I would have when I was 27.
Yeah.
So I'm lying.
Well, some things, I mean, yeah, you can minimize risk, but everything is not. So even with all the stuff I did athletically, me and my sister talk about this. I really think the thing that set me back to where it started the down spiral of my back is we were in Houston, I believe, for my sister's. Something was going on, and we got rear-ended, and I mean hard. Guy hit us full speed, and me and my sister was both sitting in the back seat.
Ooh.
And I mean, I was just like, that really hurt. And you know, you feel sore, and you don't, you know, but you try to shake it off or whatever. And but I think after that, like, I always felt something there. It didn't completely drop, but I always felt something there. So anyway, my whole point is sometimes it's those can be the things right there that can.
Totally agree. I slipped on some water and damn near broke every bone in my body. I was not anticipating this happening. Thank God I caught myself the way that I did. But accidents do happen. I mean, it's inevitable for sure. How old were you when it happened? So how long have you been dealing with this back?
I know I lived at, it had to be, it was anywhere, because I know the apartments that I lived in, it was anywhere from 2011 to 2000. It could have been as late as 2014. No, it was probably around 2013 and 14.
Wow. So good minute. Good minute.
And 2017 is when my back just went all the way out. I could feel tightness in, I could feel it stiffening up, but it completely went out. And I mean, that was the worst pain in my life. It's still extremely, I feel it right now. I'm like in my third or fourth week, I'm getting over it. And it's one of those, it's like I tried to, if I could try to, well, I can't even explain the pain, but just the physical, debilitating part of it is like, you laying in your bed. If you laying in your bed or you walking or whatever, or just saying you laying in your bed, try to get up out of your bed without using a single stomach muscle, if you can, because that's what happens. You cannot use your core at all. So when you're trying to get up, you're getting up, but you can't use your core. Like, people don't realize your core is everything. Your core is the connection to everything. And if you don't have your core, you don't have anything. Try to walk without using your core. Like, it's like, how do you even do that? Or you may not even know that you're using your core until you can't use it no more. So then I'll be walking. I can walk for maybe 3 to 5 minutes, and then I'm tired and I'm breathing hard because I'm walking without using any of my core muscles.
Yeah. You know
if
how many
I cough, if I sneeze, I feel it in my back. It's like I literally have to. I've learned how to. If I feel that I have to sneeze, I bend down. Like, there's a certain way that I bend down and I bend over to brace my back when I sneeze. Otherwise,
damn. My dad used to back out just like that. One sneeze and he'd be down for 3 fucking weeks. The first week can't move. The last 2 weeks just slowly coming around. But my dad was he was in karate most of his life, so he didn't play sports, but he did karate and martial arts for a long time. And he was a big dude, right? So getting a lot of that weight off of his body helped a lot. But then he got back, stayed large most of his life, so it was just really, really hard on his body. But I as you're talking about just like back injury and pain and shit, I'm thinking of all the friends that I have that are my age that have already had back surgeries, have had slip surgery and bulging disc surgery and, fusions and shit. I'm like, and then of course, most of them are all athletes as well, men and women. Almost all of my clients are people that are injured, which is why they generally have me coming over there, because they can't do it anymore, so you get into the aspect of how that affects your life. Your quality of life definitely changes. And I think that
and there's a number of jobs that I just can't do anymore. Like, my working potential has, like, even I think about, maybe I can go do some Amazon delivery, get some money on the weekend, Christmas, something like that. But I already know, like, Once my back, anything that of a physical nature, the moment that my back goes out, then I'm out 3 weeks at a minimum. I won't be able to. I won't be able to work.
I have a question. It almost sounds like, you know how they say you like kind of go back to being a child as you get older. Do you all, and you know how like with that being said, it makes me think about going through puberty and like having to adjust to all these new changes. Do you feel like how do you adjust with the new changes that your body is making? Like how would you explain to someone who's going through this for the first time? Like maybe you're gaining weight or you are getting gray hair, you're getting wrinkles, your back is hurting. Like what is self-acceptance around these new changes in your life?
I think for me,
The main thing is working. Go ahead, Nikki.
Oh, sorry. I think for me as a woman, I think it's having been around older women always, having always had, women who were, able to talk to me about menopause or perimenopause or even pregnancy and just talk to me about getting older and how your boobs change and how just your body changes. And I think for women, it's exponentially different than it is for men because we have so many different things happening in our bodies, hormonally that change and fluctuate every couple of fucking days, right? That affects how we literally operate. So I think just being around people who are open, people who are willing to talk is one of the reasons why I'd like to kind of be an open book and be a person anybody can ask questions about certain things too, because I think for our generation, it might be a little bit easier because we have the internet. So we can always go to the internet if we have questions or we're searching or inquiring about certain things. I think that before us, I don't think that they did talk. There was a lot of times, I remember my mom would say, yeah, my mom never told me about this, or, grandma never talked to me about this kind of stuff. And, and the dynamics may be like that with some people today, but you can still go to the internet very easily. You don't have to go to the library. You don't have to sneak. And, so I think just being around people who are open and who are willing to talk and willing to share, or just being that person yourself, just being able to be somebody that's willing to discuss things like that. Some people are very personal about that, and that's okay. But a lot of people are super comfortable with, being a walking billboard.
So sharing, just sharing in honesty.
For me, yeah.
You want to, so this is the balance. You want to be the best version of yourself without trying to be your yesterday self.
Ooh,
and that's
really good.
Really the key. You have some people who are trying to get back to that 25-year-old. You're not going to be that 25-year-old person. No. And you mess yourself up trying to do it. And then on a side note, let me say this too. I visited California a couple times a few years ago. The people who you think look good, probably not. Like when you see them in person,
right,
they look weird. They look weird as hell. I mean, they really do.
Yeah.
Like you see them on TV, but you see them in person, it's like, yeah, I see the Botox and you supposedly look younger, but when I see you up close and I look, you look like a old alien that's trying to mask themselves in the younger person. I'm telling you, it look weird. I ain't gonna lie to you, it look weird to see that many people with those type of surgeries, and it was the most unnatural thing.
Yes.
And it was men and women. It was strange. It was really strange. Now they can they can do the makeup for TV, and they can change the camera lens to make it seem soft or whatever. You see them in person, there's just certain elements about a person that anyway, yeah, they might be cute, but there's a good chance they're probably not as cute as you think they are. But even going back to that, so yeah, and even with men, yeah, we don't have the hormonal changes that you do, but yeah, we got. Listen, so part of the reason I start lifting weights and stuff like that, because I can't do the physical activity. The only thing I can kind of do physically, I can do some things, boxing, I can play some tennis. I just can't really do basketball no more. I can't do anything that's you know. So yeah, that's really why I started lifting weights, and because that's really, and that's what I can do a lot of times, even with my body or my knee or my ankle or my back or something. There's still something I can do. So if I mess my ankle up, all right, I guess I'm be doing upper body for the next 2 weeks, and my back go out. Then all right, then I can do some stationary stuff. There's certain things that I can do still. So that's kind of why I went with that. But with all of that, my boobs don't look the same either. My chest be hanging off sideways. And you see a lot of men that got those man boobs and stuff like that.
Right.
And these are dudes who can bench 350 pounds
Wow.
with these ugly looking man boobs.
Sure.
And I didn't,
because you're getting more estrogen as a man, like you're starting to get more estrogen and lose testosterone.
So when I was younger, I would look at somebody like they out of shape. Now at that age, I'm like, oh no, he's strong as all get out, but he
got the old man strip.
Right, but he got the man boob. So it's some of those. Anyway, so there's no amount of working out I'm going to be able to do to get rid of the man boob. Even when I went on my strong diet, I dropped 35 I dropped like 30 pounds, and I got myself back in my 25-year-old weight, but my body wasn't a 25-year-old body still.
Right.
And you gotta. So this is the best version of me that I can be right now. If I'm constantly mentally trying to reach back to a different, I'm not gonna be that. My eyes are gonna have those wrinkles. My hairline ain't moving forward. It's moving backwards. That's just that's what it's gonna be.
Right.
And you gotta be okay with that being the best version. Okay, yeah, I look good. I got the salt and pepper. I keep my hair like. In my 45-year-old body, that's where I have to set my stage and my scale at, not trying to be something of yesterday. That's the
that's really good. Yeah.
I think that's the part that builds the acceptance, right? And it may be for us unsubconsciously while we're doing it, but it is for those that are closest to us, our children, watching us age gracefully, right? You're not dyeing your hair. You're not, bitching about your body 24/7. And if you are, probably not in front of your kids, right? That's just like a me in front of the mirror thing. Like literally yesterday I was standing in the mirror and I was, looking at the distance between my neckline and my belly button and where my boobs sat. And I'm like, fuck, I'm like literally pulling them up. And I'm like, there was a time in my life where they sat here. They sat there by themselves, right? For like 2 seconds, I was like, man, I wish they would just go back up. And then I was like, it's what it is. Like, I don't hate my body. My daughter would never allow me to hate my body, even if I wanted to, but I don't hate my body. I don't envy a younger body, but I would like my life to be able to curate appreciation for where it is right now, knowing that in 5 more years, gravity gonna do its magic. In 10 more years, gravity's gonna keep doing its magic. And for the first time in my life, I'm just remembering all these conversations that my mom and my aunt used to have back in the day. I used to tease them all the time about their fucking cold creams and all their, anti-aging wrinkle creams and shit. And I don't buy any of those things quite yet. Like I haven't got to that part quite yet. But it's there and you cannot escape. Once you see those physical changes in your body, when I pinch my skin, I've lost elasticity in my skin. I need collagen. I need biotin. I know this. Like, you pinch my skin, I've lost weight. And you can pinch my fucking skin. I'm like, oh, these are old people. Like, this is not it, right? But to that point, there's things I can still do, obviously, today. It's how I take care of my body. What I'm doing to it today.
Oh yeah, that's the thing that I hate and envy is the amount of maintenance it takes to keep your body up. The things that I had to no effort. I ate everything I wanted to. 165 pounds. I can just run like a gazelle all day. And then you get older, and then you have to I eat half of what I used to eat, and it's like everything sticks to me, and it's just the amount of maintenance that you have to do to maintain what came easy once upon a time. That's the irritating part to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, let me tell you one more thing. This is a new aging thing that's just come on me recently. I can't hold my pee for nothing. The moment I feel like I gotta pee, that means I got about 3 minutes to get somewhere.
Okay. So, real conversation. Like, have you had prostate checked? Have you had your bladder checked? Like, have you had those things checked just to make sure?
They had I just recently got the culture done. I didn't get the actual test because raggedy insurance. And then I ain't saying ragged. I mean, I got Blue Cross Blue Shield, but what they do, even though you're supposed to get checked at 40 or 45, they won't pay for your exam until you're 50.
Get the fuck out of here.
I'm like, why?
Oh.
Like, why would you?
Because if you catch it at 45, you could possibly correct it. If you wait,
I'm like, that's insane.
now you're a pharmaceutical.
And they don't want to pay out that because they know that a larger amount of people at 45 is gonna, this is the time I need to get checked, and they don't want to pay it out, so they're gonna wait out till 50 before that. I'm like, somebody make that make sense. Like that makes no sense. But so now I have to figure out how to do it out of pocket or something like that. But this was just last month but they still do culture samples to see if it's potentially something in there that came back fine, but still.
Sure.
You know what? One of my friends who recently had a baby was complaining about the same thing, about like her pelvic floor, I think is what you call it.
Pelvic floor.
It's just not the same. And like I hear about them doing like Kegels and like try to do certain exercises to get your floor stronger. So I guess that is a thing. And I wonder, I
used to hold it long as I needed to. It wasn't no problem. Listen, it's so bad. I went to Walmart earlier this year and I bought me one of those little urinal canisters because I'm driving around a lot, and I'm like, when you got to go, if it ain't no gas station and nowhere nearby, then I got to go right now. Like, I cannot. Listen, let me tell you how bad. When I first
he said the hell would break the seal.
I was just driving in. I was driving in and I got up to right into my neighborhood. I was going up 1660. And I mean that's only a few minutes from my house. And I felt it. I'm like, do I gotta? And then as soon as I felt it, I'm like, ooh, okay. So then I get up to only a couple minutes later, I get up to my car, my house. I'm backing up into the driveway. I have to go so bad. I couldn't even wait to get into the house to use the restroom. I went to the side of the house and like, I got to get this out right now. What? It will not wait. I'm telling you, this has only happened like in the last year and a half or so. It's like my bladder don't hold for nothing.
Well, let me do
really?
Point where, listen, I ain't at the point now, but now the adult diapers don't look that crazy to me. Because I'm thinking, like, what if I'm on a long road trip? What if I'm like on a bus or on a plane and I can't I see how
that seatbelt sign.
So like women, a lot of the times what our issue ends up becoming, especially if you've had children, which is not the end all be all. You can certainly experience this if you haven't had children, but the more children you have, the more the more you have this effect with your bladder. A fucking sneeze is dangerous at my age. Like a cough is dangerous at this age. And there was a window where me and the girls would be like, oh fuck. And I'm like, oh my girls. So most of my girls are like 48 to 52, and we be joking because I still get my cycle. I'm still ticking. This bitch is still rolling, right? But like they joke about like laughing and pissing on themselves and sneezing and pissing on themselves. And I remember like years ago when my kids were smaller, we had a trampoline. I got my ass on that trampoline and jumped, and I said, "Oh my god." Oh my god! I can't jump on a trampoline. I don't jump on trampolines anymore because I will literally pee on myself if I jump on a trampoline. So it's the same thing for a lot of us. We sneeze and you might leak. You laugh and you might leak. And sometimes it gets to a point where you can do all the Kegels you want. You can do all the pelvic floor exercises you want, but sometimes you just can't close it. It's just loose. that urethra is loose. It just happens. And you could have literally just gone pee, bladder empty.
Yes.
Why the fuck I'm peeing on myself? Ain't nothing in there.
How I can't hold 3 ounces?
Right.
I'm like, it ain't even that much. And it's like, how I can't hold that? That's crazy.
But it's
Yeah,
funny.
you know. Oh, go ahead, Nikki.
I'll say it's funny that you mentioned that because there was a window where I would say probably last year it was kind of happening frequently, like enough to where I'm like, what the fuck? But as I'm playing this conversation in my head, it's been a long time since that's happened too. So like, I don't know between then and now what the change was, but that's just, I don't know, body doing what body does, I guess. I don't know.
Interesting. Okay, I have another question. In terms of your mindset, like I'll go with patience. Where are you with your patience now at 20 versus 40? Like for me, I'm starting to realize that I have entered into my no nonsense era and I got to be vocal about it. So I'm wondering, where are you all with your ability to tolerate people or your patience with people and how you respond to them?
I have extremely high tolerance with people. And I don't, I think it's really more of a free thinkers thing. I think I've heard so many stories and got to talk to people, and I understand human nature, and everybody is on their own journey and path at their own place, and they have their own destination to get to. So I just, I'm absolutely patient because like what am I not patient for? First of all, to go to the other side of it, I'm a grown ass man.
Yeah.
I don't need your permission to move forward, to stay still. If I decide to stay still and wait for you, then that's my choice.
Right.
And I also don't have to do that either. Like, oh, okay, you comfortable right here, you patient. All right. I see you on the other side around. I'm not waiting. I'm not waiting at any time that I don't feel like waiting.
Right.
But mentally I can be patient with you because I don't have a destination for you to get to. My only goal in life is to help you get to whatever your next step in life is. So I can be extreme. I can be as patient as you may not ever get any further than where you are right now for the rest of your life. But that's your life. That's your choice. I don't have to get anxious about that or impatient about what you want to do with your life.
What about how people are interacting with you and how people choose to interact with you? Like, I feel like I have a less
Oh, you gonna respect me?
patience for disrespect of any kind.
I think for me,
Yeah. So if you ever hear me say 99.9% of everything is about intention with me. So if you have the intention to be disrespectful with me, then I will excuse myself from the area, the room, the conversation. Oh no, you can stay right here. I'm gonna exit because I don't feel the need to try to make you go anywhere, make you do anything. I will exit and I'll walk off.
I like that.
But you know, so that's one of those things. But yeah, and you typically what you learn is the law of reciprocation is not 100%, but it's 8 to 9 out of 10 times. So when you treat people with respect and dignity and love, you usually get it in return.
I think for me personally, I have patience because I understand serenity prayer, right? I understand, not being in control of everything. So I have patience, but what I don't have is much tolerance. I don't. I have very low tolerance, and this conversation happens in my mind a couple times a week. So when we talked about today, this being the topic of conversation, I was like, wow, because I at least once or twice a week, I'm having the conversation with myself, asking myself, like, are you okay? Because the way, and I don't want to say it like this, but the way I don't give a fuck I really don't.
Right.
I really don't. And I think because I've given so many fucks, way too many fucks sometimes, more than I probably should have had. Going back to the, accountability conversation and enabling conversation we had a couple weeks ago, because I've given
I'm gonna
so.
make a clip out of that you just did.
You right?
I said I'm gonna make a clip out of that. So, go ahead.
I'm at peace with when I don't care today. I don't think I was at peace before. I think part of the mental turmoil of should I not? Is this good? Is this not good? If I keep touching fire, is it gonna burn every fucking time? Yes, bitch, every time it's gonna burn, right? Today, like, and maybe it's because I've ended relationships that I did not go back to. I've, been in situations where friendships have ended that did not patch back up. Like, there's just, after my dad died, like, something happened, right? Like, all death is different. But for me, losing my dad was like, that was it. That was the game changer for me. After that, okay, you can come, you can go. And if you usually go, you're probably going to have to stay gone. And I'm just okay with that. I'm not hanging on to things I don't need to hang on to. I'm not fighting for things that I don't belong to fight for. I'm not going to put myself in spaces I don't belong. I'm not going to allow somebody into a space that they don't belong. Like, and so part of that aging process has been wisdom for me. And you generally have to go through a whole bunch of shit and get burned a whole bunch of times and learn some experiences, painfully to get you to that point. But we could continue repeating the same behaviors until we're 40 and 50 and 60 because we see those parents. We see those aunties and uncles. We see people that are 60, 70 years old still full of shit. Acting like fucking 20 and 30-year-olds. And I was like, yeah, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that.
I think that's the part where, I guess when you talk about your 20-year-old self versus your 40-year-old self, you come to that realization. Number one, when you're 20, then you're still idealistic in your 20s. A lot of people like, this is how it's supposed to be. This is how my friends are supposed to be. This is how we're supposed to interact. And this is like, we all think it's supposed to be a certain way. And a lot of us try to fight to make it a way that we envision it in our head. But by the time you get to 40 and you see enough life experience, and if nothing else, life teaches you that things are not going to go the way that you expect them to go. And then by the time you get to that, then it's like, I'm past the point of trying to force anything.
Yeah.
That's number one. And then number two is, the reality is there's very few there's very few people in my life that actually affect my day-to-day life. Even people close to me.
Right.
And once you realize that, okay, we can have differences. You might not like me. You just like, it ain't changing nothing with me. I still gotta feed my kids. I still gotta go to work. Like, it's not affecting my day-to-day life. Why would I give that much energy to something that literally has very little effect on me?
Right.
It like by the time you get to 40, the only effect that most like things, and when you talk about patience and relationships, the only effect that most of it has is the energy that you give it. If you don't give it the energy, it really don't have a lot of effect on you.
But we see so many people who are our age, and around our age, who are still fighting for that illusion, who are still fighting for this is how it's supposed to be. And I'd like to snap my fingers and a perfect world happen too, but that's not realistic. And I think that a lot of us get into that space where we can't let go. And instead of letting go, we're holding on so tight, and we are literally blocking our blessings, right? We are stopping things from even being able to come to us because we're so fucking wrapped into this illusion of what it's supposed to be, when baby, that ain't what it is. That's not what it is. That's not what it's gonna be. And that's okay. You just change the fucking picture a little bit, and that's all right. But so many people, I think, are in spaces that allow you to even process that, to accept that as the new normal. And I'm talking to myself too, right? Like there's been a lot of interpersonal struggles that I've had to make peace with, that I'm still single. You know, my children are not going to get the type of male influence that I had hoped that they would, you know, be able to get, being away from their father this long, right? There's just the home ownership and this, like all these fucking things that it was supposed to be. It ain't. It ain't. It ain't. And I'm not, and today I'm not subscribing to guilt or remorse or shame or feeling some type of way because it ain't what it is, because what it is ain't that fucking bad either. You know what I mean? And I can still do what I need to do where I need to do it. And I don't know, you know, over the years I've had people who have said, you know, when you cut people off, it's forever, you know, and when you say things, you know, you don't take them back. And no, and I'm at peace with that today, and I'm okay with that today, right? And because I'm okay with where things are today, proves to me that if you stay on this path and you keep doing what's right for you first, and then right for, you know, those around you, it'll be all right. Whatever was supposed to be don't matter. It'll still be okay. And but you can't tell yourself that at 20. You can't tell yourself that at 30. You're still too fucking young. You still think that life is infinite, even though we know it's not. You still think, oh, I got time. I'm gonna be 50 in 3 years. I don't. So I'm going to make this shit be as good as it can today in the confines in which I can, which might not be the next person's good life, but for us right now, this works. And I'm so okay with that. And sometimes I have to almost pat myself on the back, because a couple years ago, it had fucked me up. A couple years, I'd have been depressed about it. I'd have been upset about it. I'd have been fighting about it. Today, man, you can have it. Take it if it ain't mine. You can have it.
That's so good. I love everything that you said, Nikki, because like you said, it's like when you actually just sit back and like, instead of clinging so hard to what you thought you were supposed to do, be, or things were supposed to look like, which first of all, these, like you said, Q, it's ideas. This is ideology that we have when we're 20 years old. We have no experience. We're building our life. We're saying my life should look like this with no experience on what life is.
Right.
And you create these unrealistic expectations. There's so many things that you can't account for. It's not because your lack of X, Y, or Z. Life just lives all on its own, outside of anything that you can control. There are so many factors in life that even if you did everything exactly the way you thought you were supposed to do it, you still might not be at this idea that you have when you were 20 or 30 something years old. Right. So when you can just remove that and just go, yo, this is what it is. I'm making the best of what I have. Like, actually, I'm good.
Yeah.
Like, my kids are healthy. I'm healthy. I may not be in the best spot, but like I'm good though. Like I ain't miserable.
Ain't in the worst.
You know, things are actually fine when we actually evaluate what we have and are grateful for what we have, and then you can enjoy what you have. Right. But you can't when you're always grasping for more.
Yep.
How do you enjoy life like that? And I think that's what the 20s and the 30s are.
Right. Well, you know, and then
more is never fulfilled. If you always need more, then it never stops. It's like tomorrow never comes. If you don't learn how to live in the present sometimes, then tomorrow, there's always tomorrow. But you never reach tomorrow. Every day is tomorrow. So if you stay in the future, then how can you enjoy the present?
And you know, and my life is far from, you know, fucking picture storybook life. Like it ain't. It's not at all. But it works for me because I'm the only one that's holding it down. So, you know, getting into this dysfunctional mentality of having to worry about this friendship or worry about this relationship or worry about what the natural thing is, of course, to worry about things like that have mattered to you. But when you realize that you didn't matter to those people, or these things didn't matter the way that it mattered to you, and you experience those things enough, like I sometimes, you know, there'll be times where sometimes I would be like, man, you know, maybe I should reach out to so and so. No, I should not reach out to so and so, because one, this isn't my responsibility to reach out to so and so. And I have found, and this is not me justifying my behavior or justifying, you know, who I am, but I have found when I do the things for me within boundaries, this shit works out. It's okay. I don't feel kind of bad about relationships ending. Our season is over. That's it. I'm at peace with seasonal relationships. And I'm okay with being a seasonal person. I think I'm a seasonal for a lot of people. I've become a part-time person for a lot of people. I used to think that relationships had to be forever. If I loved you once, I'm gonna love you forever. If you was my boy once, you're gonna be my boy forever. If you was my girl once, you can be my girl forever. That's not reality. And if you're healthy and they're not, that shit's never gonna work. And so in changing,
So this is where I'm a little different.
Go ahead.
I'm similar to you, but I'm different. And but I'm like I don't put the expectation I don't put expectation on myself to do anything as far as keeping, retaining, restoring a relationship. My whole thing is, who am I? Who do I want to be? And I do that. So for me, I've learned to love people. I love my relationships. I sow seeds. I sow positivity. I try to help people, show them things. And whether they receive it or not, or reject me, it doesn't do it. It's not towards me.
Right.
So I don't, like, at this stage of my life, I don't take anything personal.
Yeah.
So even if they reject me, I'm just, and not only that, because this is the other thing, and this is for me specifically. I know, like, I know who I am when it purpose wise, and me helping people is part of my purpose.
Right.
So even if I allow people to offend me or make me upset to the point where I pull back or shut down, I'm not pulling anything back from them. I'm pulling away from myself being who I know I'm supposed to be. So if there's times where I feel like some things have you know, maybe a relationship will break down. By the way, it's almost never on my part. It's usually on the, because I don't throw people away like that. But if I get the urge or the inkling to reach out to them, send them a text, whatever they do, that was just another seed for me to plant. Whatever. So there's a scripture in the Bible. Paul talked about, because he went to a certain city and people started arguing about, well, Paul, you did this, but Apollo did this. And he was like, look, I might plant here. Paul might have watered the plant, but it don't matter. God the one get the increase. Whatever y'all do with the seeds I plant, that's up to y'all. It ain't even on me. And that's the way that I operate. I plant seeds. I do what I leave the essence of who I am. And however the seeds fall, they fall. You might hate me. Some people still hate me for whatever reason. You might not like me. You might resent me, whatever. I'm just planting seeds or watering seeds, whatever the case. I'm moving on, but I don't take anything personal though. And that's that. Now that had to come with time and age and maturity.
Hell yeah, it does. Because is like a natural response for a lot of people. And when you stop taking things personal, or even when you notice that you sometimes don't take all things personal, I don't know about you, Q, but there have been times where, especially more recently, where I've definitely been in situations where things have happened that I know that would have triggered the old me, that I'm like, I don't give a fuck. That's not a me problem. That's a you problem. Like, and sometimes I'll be like, I'm so proud of you. You know, like I literally will be like, this shit is great. Like getting older, growing wisdom, becoming healthy, like just growing the fuck up, right? Like really sticking to your guns and sticking to your boundaries and doing it unapologetically, like serving yourself is beautiful. It's a beautiful thing.
All I can say is y'all I cannot stress this enough. Y'all would not recognize the person I used to be. You would not know that person at all.
So crazy.
I can't tell you how I can't tell you just you wouldn't know. You wouldn't know.
That's I mean that's a beautiful thing. That's a true testament.
Yeah.
What?
I'm happy for her.
I'm definitely coming in to. I think I had a hard time determining when I'm sowing a seed and I just need to like not be concerned with how it grows, and between that and being depleted.
Oof.
And I think that's the tricky space that I think time will show you. And like,
but then why and how do you get depleted though?
I think the depletion comes from giving so much of myself to a person who is not giving to me.
So
we kind of talked about this lightly before.
What you want to practice, whether in deed or mindset, is transition from giving to being. When you transition to being, then it won't you won't be depleted.
Ooh.
And what's even better is you don't feel bad about it. You don't feel bad about it. Don't feel bad.
No.
I feel bad
but that
about
goes both ways. I don't feel bad about withdrawing or with giving.
Absolutely.
Neither one of no. Let me back up though.
Absolutely.
I only feel bad about withdrawing if it's going against my nature. If I'm withdrawing because you did X, Y, and Z, then it's an external force that's causing me to respond differently. And that's not me being who I am. That's not me being. That's me responding, reacting. When you live in reaction or response mode, you'll never be yourself.
True.
Oh, okay. My head just got bust open. Okay. How does one? I think it's like so much to process because, I think some of my giving may have been out of two things: transparency moment, trying to be what I thought the person needed, and then trying to be what I thought would make me be loved.
Sure.
As opposed to just giving.
So
and being, just being.
Okay.
You being yourself is supposed to be everything that another person need. If it's not, then they can't stay in your presence. They will have to move and go somewhere else. What's the second part that you said?
Thinking I'm giving what they need and doing it out of the space of like, I think this was what this person's needs. So I like trying to meet an unmet need for someone else.
Right. Again, you being who you're supposed to be, if you are being who you're supposed to be, is the best way that you can give a person what they need. You trying to be something else? It's just now you're being anything less than your authentic self is a slight imposter. So it's just not gonna it's not going to help them in the way that you want. All I can say is just being yourself is always going to be, well, dang, that's the deep part. Once you discover yourself and you find out who you actually are, see, that's the first thing. I dare to say most people don't really know who they truly are and who they want to be, and what their purpose is from a dang, why I keep saying this, from a being aspect.
Because
Because
that's so
that
different.
involves
Being
your
is different.
attitude, that involves your actions, that involves everything around that involves everything that you do. But if you haven't discovered that yet, then you will get tired, you will get burned out, you will have misguided intentions that will also take you down wrong paths.
That's so good. That is so good. You know what I'm battling right now that I'm trying to figure out as I get older. Now that I'm getting older, because going back to the whole tolerance, I think it's more tolerance than it is patience, Nikki, what you were saying earlier. And my tolerance, I think I've tolerated so much out of just trying to be kind and nice and not hurt anybody's feelings and not be offensive and all this other stuff, just tolerating so much stuff. And when I finally get to the point where I want to choose me and be like, this ain't working, I have a strong sense of guilt that I
Are
have
you
to
talking about
talk
general
myself through.
relationships or romantic relationships?
General
Okay.
and romantic, all relationships. If there's at any point where I'm like, I don't like this and I don't want to participate, I'll be like, oh, am I wrong? Should I be more forgiving? Should I be more understanding? Should I have said this differently? And I'm like getting to the space where I'm like, I know my intentions. I know I'm not just out here wilding.
Right.
Or I know I just don't want to respond to this because I don't want, but it's just like I find myself negotiating with like, should I put more care into how I approach it, or should I have said something better, or could I have done this differently?
Those are valid questions. I would not encourage you to stop asking those questions.
Ooh.
They're not invalid, and they're definitely important to continue asking. The space that you have to find yourself in is just do it. Just do it. And then when you just start doing it, just don't feel as bad. You don't feel as depleted. You don't feel as inauthentic. Those things fill your cup unsubconsciously to where you don't feel that guilt the same way. That doesn't mean that you're not going to feel any, but the further away you get from people pleasing, the more comfortable you get with saying no. The more comfortable you get with your boundaries, or the more comfortable you get with learning what your boundaries are or need to become based on how I feel when I do X, Y, Z. Because I was very similar. You know, I try to always do good by people. I don't do people dirty. Like, I try to go out of my way, like extend myself, like be far more available to people than sometimes they were to me, because that's just being a good friend. But then when you have to go back and evaluate every single relationship, because like my dad would always say, how's that working for you? You know, God damn it, it ain't working so good for me. You know what I'm saying? It seemed like it worked fine for the rest of them, but it doesn't work so well for me. I'm not at peace. I'm not content. I'm not okay. I'm not happy. I'm not getting my needs met.
Ooh.
So again, so with that part, I would make that about it's not making it about me, but it's making it about so I say it like this. I would encourage you to ask the questions, because so for me, my goal is to be the most effective communicator that I can be. Right. Being a good communicator is not just about popping off and giving it to you raw and real, like right. No, because communication goes both ways. Effective communication is properly given for the purpose of it to be received. So if I have to question myself, did I deliver this in a way where it was most effectively received? That's a question worth being asked. It's just like with your children. Some people go to the mindset, I deal with all my children the same way, and I'm gonna give it to them the same. I'm of the mindset, once I've learned and understood my children's personality, I talk to them and I speak to them based upon how I understand their personality and what's the best way for me to communicate that thought to them. If I just say it just because I need to get it off my chest, that don't mean it's going to be received. And if I give it to them the same way, it could be received different by each child. If I give it, and I've said this before, I have different friends. There are certain friends I could tell it to them straight, no chaser. There's other friends I gotta work my way into it. Now, am I being soft? Am I watering it down? No. My goal is conveying a message that's given in the way that they can receive it, because my goal is to be a good communicator. So if your goal is to be a good communicator, it's okay to ask those questions. Is this the best way? Am I communicating? Maybe I really felt and believed what I said, but I said it in the wrong time. Maybe I said it in the wrong emotion. Maybe I said it more out of my own frustration versus me really trying to help them. These are things you got to ask yourself.
Yeah.
And if you do ask those questions, it's good, and you don't have to feel guilty about it. You can feel glad that you've evaluated, and now you've given yourself the power to make those corrections. You know what? I could have did it this way. Next time, I'm a hold on to that next time or whatever the case is, evaluate so you can make the corrections, because your goal is to be better. And it's not about them, it's about you. Being the best version of yourself you can be. And I mean, in all honesty, that's just where I'm at in my life. I'm trying to be the best 45-year-old version of myself that I could be right now.
Yeah.
And part of that, me being the best 45-year-old version of myself, is not getting too down on myself when I miss the mark some.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Because there may be a 50-year-old version that's a little bit wiser and knows how to say things in a slightly better way than the 45-year-old self. But I don't have to get down on myself just because I'm still working in progress. This is where I am right now. This is my capacity. This is my understanding level. This is where I'm at right now. And as long as I'm learning, I'm okay with that.
That's good. I have questions. This could be, I'm trying to think.
I'm gonna give you a short answer this time. I'm talking too much.
That's what happens when we get old. We talk.
Right. Okay. So this is, feel free to answer how you want to answer. It's a little bit personal. Sexually.
I was thinking about that already.
Your wants, needs, desires, performance, all of those things. How are you managing? How is that different now from when you're 20 to who you are today?
Terrible.
Where? How? Why?
So let me give you an analogy. And this easy, quick analogy. This is a basketball analogy. This is what most basketball people tell you. When you're young, you're 18, you physically can do everything that you can imagine, but you don't have the basketball IQ or the mindset to actually do to make yourself the best that you could. You just got physical abilities, but you don't have the mindset to put everything together. And the messed up trick is, once you get older, you develop the mental ability and the wisdom on, you know how to play the game, but you don't have the physical ability to do what it is that you finally know how to do.
You got to change the game up a little bit. You can't dunk like you can't dunk no more. You got to start shooting threes, do a layup.
Everything that I know now, if I knew what I knew, if I knew now what I did when I was 18 and I could put both of those together, it'd be a perfect match.
Yeah.
But I was young and didn't know everything. Now I know so much more and I can't do everything. And yeah, that's how it is. It's like, man, so much.
But did you make the adjustments? Like, because we were talking about making adjustments, being older. It's like, okay, maybe I can't do this, but I can probably do this.
Oh yeah, you got to make adjustments, so you're gonna embarrass yourself. Like what you trying to long stroke for? You ain't that long no more. What you doing? you falling out. You lost them inches 8 years ago. What you doing? Trying to act like you. No, Jesus.
Wait, is that a thing for
Stay
men?
right close. Stay right in the pocket, right there.
Is that a thing for men? Just like, okay, people get shorter. Do men lose inches? Or are you just
Yes.
joking?
No,
Really?
I'm not. I've lost a minimum of 2 inches.
Oh, what? Wow.
Oh yeah.
Wow. Oh, shit.
Interesting.
Fuck.
So yeah, you got to change your whole game up.
You got
You got to change up your game. 2 inches different. You got to change up your game.
Stroke got to be all different.
Yeah, it does have to be different. And not only that, the endurance is, and that's one of the bigger things, is the endurance is not the same.
See, for me, that's
so I say like this. So it's like, you see, you asked the question, I'll be honest with something. Like, back in my 20s, you can be in, you can come out, I can go grab a glass of water and come back and I'm still a rock. Do that now in your 40. You come up out for 32 seconds and then you lost 40% of your of your rock right there. Like, it's like, man, it don't hold up the same way. You can't because that's a lot of things. It's a lot of dudes that take pills and stuff like that is not necessarily to get up, but it's to maintain.
Yeah.
Because you can't, a lot of times it's hard to maintain the same way that you did before.
Is it because I missed some of it? Is there more of a sensitivity, or and you come faster, or like
it's the devil. You just getting old and it's just the devil.
So it's not like a sensitivity issue. It's just like it's almost like the concept of like having to pee. It's just like when it's coming, and then you can do
it. Yeah. It's very similar to that. Yeah.
How would you recommend?
So again, so I tell you, for instance, like when you were younger, a boy 15, 22, we would get massive erections, probably, I don't know, every 22 minutes. For absolutely no reason at all.
Wow.
You ain't even thinking about nothing. You just, you ain't thinking about nothing, and it just rock up all like constantly. That's just what it did. That's the, and also I guess probably the one of the biggest things in addition to just your body is your testosterone is down too, which is one of the things that don't. But every 22 minutes it's just like, oh shoot, you up again? And that's the thing that people got confused about a lot of time. They like, people, what you thinking about? I ain't thinking about nothing. It just do that. It just stay ready all the time. And now you might be lucky if it, once or twice a day without you actually being mentally aroused in some type of way.
Interesting. Okay, so I have a question. As a man, how would you what advice would you give to men who are experiencing this, but they may be a little embarrassed and they don't want to tell their partners? Because I've seen like some stuff on TV, maybe even experienced it myself, but this one. But nothing wrong with it. But how do you I've experienced and seen where men maybe will just act like they don't want to have sex.
Yep.
Because they're ashamed.
Mm-hmm.
How do you what do you tell men who are experiencing this? And then what do you tell them to have them help them communicate to their partner what they're going through?
It is so tricky. And this is, let me tell you why it's so tricky. Um, the first thing you want to, if you're not having sex with your partner, then you need to communicate that, because you don't want it to be something where they think that maybe you messing around with somebody else, or you're not interested or attracted to them. You gotta let them know, look, I'm working on something, and you kind of want to be vague. And as the woman, this is what I say. This is why I say, yes, but you want to let them know it ain't true. This is and I don't know. I'm gonna check out the doctor, see if something, if there's something that I could do to kind of get me stimulated. But it's definitely not you. It's just something going on with me. And the reason why I say vague is because, and this is what I'm saying to women, this is not something, it's not, in most cases, it's not going to be beneficial for this to turn into a regular conversation. Because what happens is, the last thing, if a man gets too much in his head, it makes it that much harder for him to perform.
It's definitely not going to function.
It's definitely, yes, it will make it actually worse, because now he's thinking, and the moment he feel like, oh, I was almost there, but now I'm feeling a little sorry. And the moment you start thinking about it and getting in your head instead of just being in the moment, it makes it that much worse. And now it's like I don't know if y'all women ever had this, but I definitely had it. If you ever leave a house and you forget to put on deodorant, it's like the moment you remember, like, dang, I ain't putting no deodorant. It's like immediately I just feel my underarm start sweating all of a sudden, like, oh man, shoot, golly. It's like just thinking about it makes me start to perspire, because now I just got that self-conscious that quickly. And that's what happens just thinking about it. So it's like one of those things, the man needs to speak on it. The woman needs to understand it, but it's not something that you want to, how you feeling today, boo? You think you're gonna get it up today, or you gonna like that? It ain't gonna.
Right.
If it's something on top of his head, it just makes performance even worse. That's why I say it's tricky.
Now, my other question is for people who have a partner who are suffering from this, but they haven't talked to you about it yet, but you notice and you like, it ain't doing what it need to do. How do you recommend that this person approaches the person who's having issues?
I would almost just tell them, hey, I don't know. Have you I would try to get professional help, and then just step back. Schedule them to see a doctor, schedule them to, whatever the case is, and then just back up. Those are one of the things that you kind of want to step back from.
But how do you even approach the conversation?
I think that depends on your partner. I think that's the dynamic of your relationship, right? If you have a good, healthy relationship, then you and your man are probably seeing it and feeling it at the same time to be like, hey, right? But if you don't have an open communication, if you don't have a relationship where there's a lot of trust involved, a lot of safety and security involved, right? Like if you don't have a healthy relationship, I don't know. And I'm not a man who would experience, any type of dysfunction, right? But I can't imagine that ever being any conversation. Like if you're not in a good relationship, how does that conversation go well? Like we're already kind of in bad shape, which probably adds to why the dysfunction is there, right? But I think if you have a good, healthy relationship, I see this conversation get posted oftentimes in relationship groups. Women who are like, my man used to dog me out 4 or 5 days a week, and now it's been months and he won't touch me, and he's, if you, I don't know. I feel like if you don't have the type of relationship where y'all can talk about it, that in itself is probably part of a problem. I think it all boils down to the dynamics that you have in your existing relationship to determine how you're going to be able to address that, or which angle you come from that with, right? Because any safe space, I would think, you know, as uncomfortable as the conversation may be, if you're in a safe space, a man is going to be like, hey, I know you noticed him. Like, I know you noticed, right? Like we got to figure, this is we got to figure this out, right?
But the fact that he ain't said nothing yet shows that he's not comfortable in speaking up.
Dynamic, right? Or maybe there's shame involved on his part, there's embarrassment involved on his part. Like, I can only
Right, yeah, it is.
when you know
You don't
this,
feel like a man.
and you know that that's not true, right? But that's, of course, the first place that I think every person is going to go. You know,
Well, one thing I would encourage the woman to do is continue to initiate intimacy and give reassurance that it doesn't have to be sexual.
right.
Because sometimes, and that's one, let me take it a step further. When a man sees you being intimate, or, you know, sit on his lap and you kissing on his neck, that in itself can start creating anxiety. Like, oh man, she trying to do something, and ain't nothing going on down here. And now they start pulling back. Like, no, I don't feel like it. Ain't that they don't feel like it. It's like, I can't. So one of the things that you want to start doing is promoting healthy intimacy without the necessary expectation of sex. So you might be kissing on your man neck, put on some lingerie, do like, look, hey, don't even, hey, and then see, this is a way that you can reassure them, like, hey, we ain't got to do nothing. I just want to love on you a little bit. And maybe y'all could just kiss and neck, and you know, let him. I don't want to be too vulgar. Let him just finger you or whatever. I don't know, like whatever. Get into it. Without him feeling the weight of having to perform down there.
Okay.
And that could possibly start to reignite some of those things. Again, taking the pressure off is one of those things that can, because listen, in most instances, and let's tell the truth, in most instances, even a man who's having trouble performing, he's still masturbating. Men ain't gonna stop masturbating. Oh yes. He's still masturbating. But the thing is, he's not again, so that lets you know there is something there. But see, there, when he's masturbating with himself, there's no pressure.
Right.
There's no pressure to perform.
Right.
Right. So what you do is tap him and get him to tap into that.
Yeah.
Or go, dang, I'm gonna get real vulgar. We had to get offline first, but listen, do all of the other things around that don't require that one member.
Yeah.
And you make sure that, hey, listen, you about to get me there one way or another. And then, so again, make sure he gets you there. And then those are some things that can help take off some of that pressure. Like, hey, I already got one. Now, if you feel up to it, you can give me that second one. You know, but if not, then we still good, and it still keeps the atmosphere going.
Okay, same subject, but vaginal dryness. How would you approach that conversation?
As a man or a woman?
Both. Because like as a woman, does somebody have to tell you?
So from what I've gathered, because this is not something I've experienced yet, thank you, Jesus. But from what I've gathered, there's no question about it when it happens. It just hurts. So most women, you can't even use a. It hurts. You certainly can't use. It hurts. You can't use the dildo. It hurts. You know, so for most of the women that I know that experience this, a lot of the women that I know that have experienced this, it's through perimenopause or you know, being in the menopause cycle, where hormones and everything is just off. So it isn't even that it doesn't get wet, it literally almost won't even let anything go in. It just hurts so bad. A girlfriend of mine has been going through this recently, and she's had a lot of medical issues, and she had to go into the gynecologist, and she goes, I fucking slid off the table. She goes, I cried so hard just them trying to do an exam with all the lubes, jellies, and of course all the things that you know when you go to a gynecologist or whatever.
Even with the lubes?
Yes. Yeah.
Dang.
That's rough.
Because
Because it sounds like it's dry, but it's tight too. It sounds like it's more
Right.
restrictive.
moving. Then you gotta think about like just how sensitive that skin is, right? Like, and if it's, yeah, I mean, Denise, I mean, we're women, like, ever, and this is, you know, too much information, but when is fucking freethinkers not? But if you've ever tried to pull out a tampon and it wasn't fully absorbed, that shit hurt so bad all the way coming out, right? So you can imagine going in what that feels like when it's just absolutely dry, you know, and like the same conversation for women who are in, you know, intimate relationships. All you want to do is please your man. And a lot of times these are situations where the desire hasn't been lost. It's just the inability to perform. Now, there does certainly become times, of course, for women, especially in perimenopause and during those changes where libido is gone, just zap the fuck out, right? And I don't know if during that time that affects wetness too, right? But vaginal dryness is a real thing. And most of the women I know that go through it say it's just extremely painful. And so a lot of times it's, you know, women who will, you know, do all of the other things as well, right? But if you don't have a good relationship, you get shamed from your partner. Oh, well, I'm gonna get it from somebody. No, that's no, we got to talk about some things, but that becomes an option. But for a lot of people, men, that becomes the default. We'll tell their wife, go get you go get you a side piece since I can't do it. What? You know, or same if they'll, you know, women will tell their husbands, go get you a chick. I can't give it to you. Let somebody give it to you. Like, there has to be a better way for two people who claim to love each other to be able to work through this. Because it's inevitable as you age. A man's thing's gonna stop working and a woman's shit gonna stop working too. Like, the age in which that happens, I think, is different for the person.
That's good.
You know, I never had, I never know it to be to that extent. So yeah, that's a little bit unfamiliar territory. But I mean, whenever you have slight issues, I love giving head. So I'm like, oh, we can fix that. Ain't gonna be the problem. But I mean, to the extent that you talk about, I'm like, oh yeah, that I mean, that would be different.
Yeah.
But when your hormones have changed so much to where your body just does not produce that, you know, ladies, get you some lube. There's some phenomenal lubes out there, you know, on the market. I've been seeing they have these breath mints, and I can't think of what they're called, but they're like these breath mints. I keep seeing the little ads go on social media. And like the woman takes it's like, you know, it's oral, so she takes a little clear jelly looking breath mint. And once that shit starts to like dissolve into your body and do what it does, it's like a waterfall. Like, I've never seen a lube be so slippery before, right? There's plenty of things that are out there, and I think that conversation is uncomfortable for a lot of people for so many different reasons. But there is a ton of help out there, right? To help people be able to, whether it's looking at your diet, whether it's changing a few things in your, you know, day-to-day activity, right? Getting assistance, you know, using, you know, medical devices that you can, right? I mean, there's so many options that are out there, but it is definitely a very real thing. And I think that being able to be in a relationship with somebody that leaves it safe for y'all to be able to have this conversation probably is one of the biggest helpers to getting back to your sexual life, is being in open conversational relationship.
Yeah.
And there are other things other than that that one organ that can assist in the experience.
Right.
Just because you
Right.
can in one area, don't, because that's the part that drives. So then that's when you start potentially developing insecurities in your partner. Like, okay, well, you don't want me. That's not enough if you just shut down. Because it's not just the sex itself. Because you are not performing, then you pull away from intimacy.
Yeah.
That's the thing people notice even harder. So, okay, say you couldn't do that or you were having issues, but if the intimacy was still there, then it gives a reassurance like, okay, it's not me. It's just we changing it up. We doing a little different, Okay, fine. But when you start pulling away from intimacy, that's when those other questions arise.
Yeah.
Okay, either you're not attracted to me anymore or you're getting it somewhere else. And that goes for men and women.
Yeah.
I think one of the things to absolutely not tell your partner, and this goes for men and women, is, well, I just can't please you. Do not do that to your partner. If you're the partner that is having a hard time performing, do not tell your partner, oh, well, I just can't please you. That is so frustrating, because that's not true. Yes, you can. Either one, you're not trying, two, you don't want to, or three, you can't. So let's figure out which of these three it might be. But just saying, oh, I can't please you, I guess I'm not going to try anymore, that's a fucking cop out. And that's where the insecurities are going to come from. That's the feeling like you don't want me to come from. And a lot of that, they're just like, oh, well, I can't please you, I can't do nothing, oh, I can't please you.
Right.
Like trying to put blame on them.
But I'll keep reiterating, you don't want to pull away from intimacy because that is the real killer. So then what happens is, because again, when a person can't perform, then they get performance anxiety, and then it makes people pull away altogether because they automatically think that intimacy is going to lead up to sex, or they automatically gonna want sex. So then it's like, okay, so you don't like kissing me no more? Like, damn, like you don't even kiss me no more. You don't like just certain stuff that we used to do. You pull away from all of it. So then you saying that I can't perform, it doesn't resonate because it's like, no, this ain't just about performance. You're not doing nothing.
Right.
You don't even hug me the same way no more. You don't kiss me the same way. You don't do anything the same way. So you can't tell me that it's just that, because you can't dumb it down to think that, and men, that's not all men want. I mean, we do want that, but then just to say, oh, if somebody give you sex but they don't show you affection, no, we want affection too.
Right. That's a good point. I think just the remembering that the performance anxiety creates withdrawal.
And don't allow that to
fucking cause and effect. Like, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. I don't want to touch you, and I don't want to get stimulated because it's not fucking working right now. That's got to be so frustrating for that to be taking place. But I can see a one partner.
And that's I'm taking this to a whole nother, but I'm taking this to a whole different place. But that's one of those things to where I'm currently practicing right now, because even in life, when we're talking about aging, and some of us have parents, and when you see people, like my mother has Alzheimer's right now, it's going to be a matter of time. And I've seen other people, when they see their parents and they're not themselves anymore, and they're not the people that they used to be, and you can't interact with them the same way. I see a lot of people pull away from them. Because it's hurtful. The interaction itself can be hurtful.
Right. What do you mean you know who I am? What do you mean? A daughter named Nick.
And I had a close friend of mine, and you know her, Nikki, a close friend of mine in Illinois, had the issue with her parents, and then one of the siblings, it hurt them to see her like that, and they kind of pulled away. And they didn't come around as much, but it's one of those things so the whole thing that reminded me what we were saying, you can't pull away because you're not able to interact the same way. You still got to show that connection, and you still got to work at it. You can't leave it alone. It's not going to get better just because you say I'm going to distance myself so I don't have to face reality. You got to make yourself. And sometimes it can be when there's tougher days out there, then it can hurt. You might leave off the phone crying because you facing reality, but you got to face it. You can't run away from it, because running away from it is not going to change the reality of what's going on.
Yeah.
And you're limited on time, so you better use that time wisely.
Yeah.
Ooh. That's good. I think that is so good. Is understanding how to show up for people who are in a different, further along process of their aging, and how we show up for those people, how the role that we play in the family unit starts to change, and the adjustments of that, and the pressures of it, and the uncomfortability of it all. And you're right, Q. It's just facing it head on. Like you say, you might get off the phone and you might cry.
Mhm.
And I know that's probably got to be, as a parent, a hard conversation to have with your children about their grandmother, grandfather, and helping them process that while you're processing your thing, while they're processing, parents are processing their thing. Because one thing I did notice, I think when my grandma had, I don't know if she had Alzheimer's or dementia, I really don't know the difference, but they start to know that they slip up.
Yes.
And they'll kind of try to catch themselves if they can, but then they have their feelings around that as well. And it's just important for us to be as present as we possibly can be.
Right. What can you? Yeah. So again, what can you do?
Yeah.
So it's funny, in a lot of instances, me and my mom, we used to talk for hours. Every time I called, we end up being on the phone for 2 hours, just talking about that. That's what we do. And now a lot of times the conversations are 10 minutes, or it's not well, what you do this week, what you do last week, how was the trip last week? No, it's what you up to today. Like today might be as much as we can't reach back to a couple days ago or yesterday. We might just be able to, today is the only thing that we can talk about. If that's what we can do, then that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna talk about today.
Yeah.
What you watch today, what you eat today, what you doing today. And if that's what we had, then that's what we got. So I was able, the reason I talk about this now, I've been crying all morning. I've probably been crying for the last 6 months. It just comes in increments. But you process it, you process it the way that you can. And then even I talked to my mom today, and it was a good day. I talked to her for about 1 hour and 20 minutes, and we was able to just have a good long conversation about a lot of stuff. But you got to stay present in order for those opportunities. They may not be as often, but you got to stay present for those opportunities.
Well, and I'd like to say that could also be a part of aging for us, right? The growing up and maturing and realizing that our parents aren't going to live forever, right? And to appreciate what while we have it. But then I realize that for a lot of people, that's not possible, right? They hold on to what was. They have a hard time, accepting where we are, that it isn't what it was, and where it's probably going to go. And I think for me, watching somebody die, right, the last 2 years of their life, watching somebody slowly become somebody that I didn't grow up with, right? You can never prepare yourself for some things, and you can never prepare yourself for that. But those experiences are going to change you in one way or another. They're either going to make you, they're going to break you. They're going to make you become something greater, because now you have this experience that I didn't fucking want, but I have it, and I'm going through it in the most healthy positive way I possibly can to be accepting of where we are, instead of spending my time fighting and fighting and fighting and fighting and fighting and fighting and fighting, because I don't want this to be what it is.
Right.
This is what it is. This is what the fuck it is. So we spend the rest of what we got making it what we can make it be, and I'll process that shit later, or spend what little time I have left, or how much time I have left, and keep myself in this space of depression and sadness. I mean, you're gonna go through it
All
by
of those things, like it's
you're gonna go through those things by default.
right.
But so many people stay in that dark space and they don't come out of it. And they're unable to appreciate the day for what it is, appreciate it after half conversation.
The one thing I tell people, especially when they're dealing with parents, the last thing that, and it's in anything, but even dealing with situations like this, the last thing I want to do is be like, I wish I woulda.
That part.
Yeah.
I wish I would have called her more. I wish I would have, because it might hurt your feelings to call, and it might not be the exact same person, but you still got the opportunity to call them.
Yeah.
And it frustrates me to see people, I wish I would have, and but I want to be to the place to where I did the best with the time that I had. I made the most of it, and I was appreciative of it at that time and for that time. So I don't have to look back and regret. I just wish I would have. No, I am doing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I think something else too is just like going back to the idea of being present in the moment and appreciating what you have in the moment. I think sometimes in these cases we could be so focused on how distraught we will be when the time comes that we're not spending the time how we should be spending it. You know, like I told somebody earlier this year, like, don't treat the person like they died already.
Right.
They're still here.
Still here.
Treat them like they're alive.
Yep.
Spend the time with them like they're alive.
But Denise, this is what I'll be preaching this to a lot of people. But also, don't treat people like they're gonna be here forever. And you always
that.
It frustrates me so much when people always act like, no, I ain't talking, like you think you don't know how much time you got. So stop acting like you always got time and there's always gonna be tomorrow and another day. Because maybe it's not Alzheimer's, maybe it's a car accident. You don't know, so stop acting like you got forever.
Right.
Especially if it's somebody that you love, and then what are you having these petty?
Yep, that'll do it. That'll fucking do it.
The Q freeze on your end, Nikki?
I think so.
Yeah, that's so true. Like, it don't be worth it in the end. Like the fighting, the pettiness, and things like that. That stuff don't be worth it in the end. I've seen it. I've seen it. I've seen I'm not talking because it is, and then you're asking, you could be a mutual party, and you could be like, well, how did this even start? They can't even tell you. Nobody knows where it starts, the middle, the beginning, the end. They don't know anything. It's not worth it. So definitely, like, love on your people. Appreciate what you have. But also it's important too, with all that, to like love on yourself, appreciate yourself. Because not only do you not want to look back on your life and go, I wish I would have spent more time with this person. I wish I would have this. You don't want to look back on your life and realize you didn't really do much for yourself. And that you could have loved more on yourself. And you could have had more boundaries, because in fact, like, some of these boundaries are protecting you and your relationships. But I feel like this was such a good conversation about aging.
And I'm really glad that we kind of went where we went. And I don't know if Q will join us again. I'm gonna call him when we get off. But you know, that's real shit, right? Y'all watched me take care of my dad those last couple of years, and I remember shortly after my dad passed, one of my girlfriends, her dad was unfortunately dying as well, and she goes, she said, "You taught me how to care for my dad at the end of life." But I was like, "That's crazy," because I didn't know how to do this, right? Like I had no clue how to do that part. But to what Q said about not having any regrets, I don't have any regrets. Like we did everything we needed to do before my dad passed. You know, we kept the music going, we kept the parties going, we kept the people coming in the house, we kept the barbecues going, we kept the AA meetings coming to his house. Like we kept it going because we knew we ain't had that much time left. But we weren't gonna, stand around and just fucking cry all day, every day, and just be fucking, oh, you're gonna be okay. And no, we're not gonna do that. 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 And I don't know if maybe there was a better way to go through this process. I'm not quite sure. It's taken me 5.5 years to feel some sense of normalcy. Grief is a horrible fucking thing, but how you spend that time at the end of anybody's life is absolutely critical to how you get through that fucking grief process. And if you have regrets, if you have, resentments, if you have, things that should have been said that you never got to say, that shit will eat you up the rest of your life. You have to take care of those things before. You have to, and I don't think there's any necessary recipe on how you're supposed to do this. But acting like you have infinite time certainly is not going to get you where you want to be. Living every moment, loving every moment, living the best that you can in those moments, that's the stuff that you hold on to after they're gone. I think about all the shit I've missed from my dad, but I think about what we brought to him his week of hospice. Every day was a party at the house, and not like a party, right? But like we're music people, we're food people, we're gather people, we're party at the house all the time kind of people, and we brought that every day on hospice, knowing one of these days is gonna be the last one. But there was no regrets at the end. People say, "Oh, you post so much on social media, and, you're so transparent about social media." I didn't know how to fucking deal with this. But through that, I've had people literally tell me, I'm not afraid of this part anymore. Like, I'm not so scared of that end chapter anymore. And literally, months later, my her father passed, and they had a very close relationship like I did with mine. And she goes, "If it wasn't for watching you go through this," she goes, "I don't know if I would have been able to experience the last couple months of his life as well as we did. We would have probably just cried and cried and cried and cried and cried and cried and just fucking been sad." She goes, "We tried to live as much as we could while we still had him to be able to do so." And that's, I don't know, that for me, that makes all the difference when it comes to dealing with grief, the aging and loss of parents and loss of grandparents, of loss of those elders that you just can't imagine ever leaving, right? But
Yeah.
But it was I don't know. It's that's the part of aging that nobody prepares you for. That's the fucked up part. I remember as soon as my dad passed, I was like, wow, I've now been inducted into a club that I never wanted to be a part of. But in that, you find so much comfort from other people who like, yeah, I got my membership too, and then you realize just how much you value life the second that they're gone. Everything for me changed the second my dad passed. My tolerance, my patience, my aging. I mean, sometimes I was like, God, I wish my dad was still here to like see me today, see who I've truly become, you know, and maybe he does, but you know, it's just it's a part of life. It just is. It just is. Loss is a part of life, but living is a part of life.
That was good, Nikki.
Yeah.
That was the best way to say that. And I appreciate. I just appreciate you guys so much because I just learned so much from you guys. And y'all hit on these different subjects. You're so transparent and you share things. Q, thank you for sharing. Nikki, thank you for sharing. We ain't gonna get through this by ourselves. We can't do this by ourselves. There's so many things, so many conversations that we're just not having. And like, I'm just so grateful for Free Thinkers because these are the conversations that sometimes you might not even be able to have with your family members. It can be too hard.
It's very hard sometimes.
But, you know, the fact that we can have them here is so important and so special. And all I can say is that I'm just grateful.
I agree. I'm super grateful. It's just funny, right?
I
That
agree.
sometimes we have these conversations with our family, but we can pick them online.
Right? They're probably watching us like, what?
Whoever awful world is watching. You know, but I feel like that's what our ripple is. That's what our purpose is. We're here for that reason because we don't know who's watching. We don't know who's listening. We don't know who's ever going to hear what just happened tonight. But we damn sure are not alone. There are tons of people who walk before us and tons of folks who gonna walk after us who are going through obviously very similar things. And just knowing that you're not alone and knowing that this is all part of normal growth and growing in the aging process. Like for some people, that's all they need. Just to know I ain't alone. I'm not going crazy. You know, like, no, this is really, it's okay to be fucked up. You know, it's okay to feel a type of way. No idea we were going to cry tonight.
Neither. But we're just going to talk about plastic surgery. No, I'm joking. I knew we'd talk about more, but I didn't even
I
think
was
about
almost,
this.
because like I said, I was on a 4.5 hour trip, and I was probably on the way there. I was probably crying 2 of those hours. And when I seen you put aging as a topic, I almost want to say I don't think I could do that, because just where my mindset was with it, I'm like, but then you know me, I'm like, I don't run away from no topics. So I'm like, all right, let's do it. Whatever, it's all good.
You know, but Q, had I known, I probably would have been like, oh, let's go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, everything happening for a reason. It's what it is. You know, now we get to support you. That's your turn. You need the love and support. You know, but that's what this is. That's what aging is. Aging is I can show up for you. 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 You know, I can put all my shit to the side and show up for, or I bring my shit with me and I still show up. But that's what maturity does. What aging does. Love does. That's what
Right.
loving people does. Appreciating people does. And you might not feel that at 20. You might not feel that at 30. But get them 40s and 45s and 50s and more. I'm quite sure as we hit 50 and 55, revisiting the topic in 5 or 10 years will be very interesting.
Yeah. Definitely. Any closing remarks?
I got it all out.
We got it. We did it.
I got it all out.
Yeah. I'll just say, you know what? Embrace it. Change is beautiful. Change is good. It's resisting the change that is the most uncomfortable about it, I believe. I think if you just embrace it with open arms, that's when life can be so beautiful. nothing wrong with aging. Like aging is absolutely beautiful. It's crazy. You have to make these adjustments, these changes, etc. But it's beautiful because, like, you know, life it has to end at some point, and I think that is what makes it so beautiful. Speaking of, y'all should go see Eternity. It's good, y'all. I seen it this weekend. So the concept of Eternity is that this woman, her first husband dies in a war. And so he, you know, obviously he dies before her. And then she has a whole nother life with another man, and they're like together for 67 years or something like that. And then he dies. So they're kind of like in this purgatory, if you will. And then she dies.
Like some Black Mirror stuff.
Yeah, she dies and has to decide who she wants to spend eternity with. And it's such a good,
That sounds interesting. That's interesting.
Yeah, you should watch it. You should watch it. Y'all would like it.
Oh yeah, I like. Oh, and by the way, we gotta get back on these Black Mirror. We got a few more Black Mirror shows that we need to discuss. Get back into a Black Mirror series.
I know.
We got 2026 coming up.
Because when you said that, you made me think about San Junipero.
I need to watch that again.
Oh my God.
Because I think I watched it and I was like, I don't like that. I was grieving at the time.
It's kind of there's similarities
to
it though. And that's my second favorite one.
You always say that. You always bring that one up. I might rewatch it maybe something.
We'll come up with a few episodes.
The whole entire show from season 1 and go all the way to 5. Just for a refresher.
Right.
You know?
Well, that's it, y'all. I got to get off here because I need to get up early in the morning and actually go into the office.
Ew.
Anyways, this was fun. I can't believe we have one more before you said we have one more before the end of the month?
Next week. Yeah, next week is our last.
Oh, okay. So we get one more in before the holidays.
Yeah, next Tuesday is our last. Well, yeah, because Christmas is what? Thursday, Friday. Yeah, no. Wednesday, Thursday. Are we doing Tuesday? Are y'all going to be here Tuesday?
What day is Christmas?
Hold on. Let me look at my calendar.
I think it's usually on a
Thursday. It's
Thursday.
Wednesday. I ain't doing it on Christmas Eve.
Nah. Let me see.
No, I think Christmas is usually Thursdays every year.
No, it's not. It's Thanksgiving. No, it's not.
Oh, it's not?
It's on the 25th. Whatever day the 25th land up.
Next week is the 23rd. Next week is Tuesday the 23rd.
Okay. Yeah, we can do that.
Christmas Eve. So yeah.
So it is on Thursday. Christmas is on Thursday. We gotta check this. I think it is a Thursday thing. No, it's the 25th of every.
It's not Thursday. It's not Thursday every.
No.
Oh my God. All right, y'all. Well, happy Freethinkers Tuesday.
Bye, everybody.
Good night.